Coming up today on Daily Iowan TV, student government elections. UISG elections for the 2017-2018 school year are underway. And later, Project XQ. Find out what is happening next to the main library.
We hear from some position coaches at football availability.
And give you a full recap of the women's softball game.
And temperatures are finally starting to warm up. Find out more in weather.
All that and more is coming your way. You're watching Daily Iowan TV. Good morning and thanks for tuning in to Daily Iowan TV. I'm Noah Gowdy. Today is the last day of UISG Senate voting, and do you know how to vote? Daily Iowan TV reporter Christopher Cervantes has more.
We are at that time of year again. With Iowa finally over its seasonal transition, it is now time for the transition of power amongst the University of Iowa student government. This time around, though, it's a little different. That's because this election has one major party and a string of independent candidates running about trying to become the next UISG Senate.
So student leadership on this campus is unbelievably important. I encourage students to take this decision seriously because these students who are elected will go on to represent you at Board of Regents meetings. They will represent you in front of the governor. They will represent you in front of administration on a daily basis.
Tristan Schmidt is an independent candidate running in the constituency Senate election next week. Despite this, though, candidate Schmidt has a lot to say about the rise of the independents, calling it a step forward.
As much as I think it's important for parties like Bridge U Iowa to run for the general Senate elections, I think it's good that we have independent candidates who come with a not so collective perspective, but maybe an individual perspective that that collective might not have seen or might not embrace.
Despite all the excitement over senators, there is one thing we all need to make sure we know how to do, and that is how to vote. And it is simpler than you may think. All you have to do is go to My UI, then Student Information before finding the My Vote tab under My UI Iowa. Remember, today is the last day of voting, so get out there and make your voices heard. Reporting from downtown Iowa City, this is Christopher Cervantes, Daily Iowan TV.
Yesterday, between the main library and the Adler Journalism Building, the University of Iowa campus was visited by Project XQ. The national nonprofit organization focuses on rethinking high school. They visited the UI campus in hopes of sharing this vision and working with college students with a desire to see how the older generation can improve school conditions for the younger generation. They had an open call across America where 700 applicants gave their ideas for improvement, and the chosen few were able to display their ideas.
10 winning teams who we've awarded $10 million to, and really focusing on their ideas to really reimagine and remake high school in America.
For more information on the program, visit xqsuperschool.org. University of Iowa officials are working towards upgrading Burge Residence Hall over the next 3 years. Next week, the plans for upgrading will be presented to the Regents Facility Committee. Officials plan to make renovations to rooms, elevator lobbies, corridors, and lounges, among other things. The renovations are going to be taking place between summer of 2018 and summer 2021. The Iowa wrestling team gave police a workout last week, teaching them to use for self-defense and arrests. Between April 3rd and 7th, officers from Iowa City, Iowan, and University of Iowa police departments came in for practice. UI Public Safety Director Scott Beckner coordinated the event with Coach Tom Brands. Former Iowa wrestler Matt McDonough, Mike Evans, and Thomas Gilman helped work with the officers. On Wednesday, the Pomerantz Career Center had an informational session at the IMU called 3 Steps to Marketing Yourself to Employers. This event was put on in hopes to help students market themselves on paper, in person, and to other people effectively. Students who attended were taught strategies to help make them stand out from the competition when it comes to looking for a job.
Each one of them will help them become effective in their job search, to figure out what they want to do for internships, how to market themselves.
To learn more, students are encouraged to schedule an appointment with an advisor in the Pomerantz Career Center. You can also attend the next workshop, which is scheduled for April 25th at 4 p.m. at the Iowa Memorial Union. Well, yesterday I was walking to class and I saw a whole bunch of people out enjoying the weather, And I'm joined now by Alexis Tansey in the weather studio. Alexis, what's it looking like going into this weekend?
Thanks, Noah. Yesterday sure was a beautiful day, and I'm hoping the rest of the week stays that way. Looking outside this morning, the sun is shining once again, and we have temperatures of around 62 degrees. Now let's take a look at the rest of the forecast. This evening will be cloudy with a high of 62 degrees. Tomorrow will be about 54 degrees in the morning with mostly cloudy skies. Let's take a look at the 6-day extended forecast to see what the rest of the week looks like. Tomorrow afternoon and into the evening, there's a 90% chance of thunderstorms with a high of 70 degrees. These storms will continue into Saturday evening with temperatures in the upper 60s. The sun looks like it will come out on Sunday just in time for Easter with temperatures in the mid to upper 60s. Heading into next week, on Monday, temperatures are going to drop to the low 60s with partly cloudy skies. These temperatures will rise for Tuesday as we are looking at highs in the upper 60s. We are expecting thunderstorms on Tuesday evening and into Wednesday morning with temperatures in the low 60s during the day Wednesday. That's all I have for weather today. Noah, back to you.
Thanks, Alexis. And as a part of Earth Month, the UI Environmental Coalition spread awareness about reusable bags in the pedestrian mall. They partnered with the advocacy group of 100 Grannies for a Livable Future to demonstrate how to make reusable bags out of t-shirts. Passerbys could trade their single-use plastic bags for these homemade reusable bags. The 100 Grannies are a local advocacy group committed to protecting the environment.
We invited people to drop off all their plastic bags because a big issue with that is they are recyclable, but only like at grocery stores, and people often don't take the time to bring them back.
The UI Environmental Coalition has more events planned throughout the month. Tonight they are holding a lecture on independent media and climate change. You can find all of their upcoming events on the UI event calendar website. The state of Iowa is slowly allowing gun owners to keep their firearms with them while being at the state capitol. Many are worried how security would be dealing with armed visitors in the vicinity. The wide-ranging gun bill will mimic what many other state houses around the U.S. have done when Republican Governor Terry Branstad signed the bill Thursday. Iowa City Mayor Pro Tempore Kingsley Botchway announced his plans to run for re-election to reclaim his at-large seat on the Iowa City Council. In 2013, Botchway was elected to his recent at-large seat, and in 2016, he was elected Mayor Pro Tempore. His main focuses are affordable housing, healthy living, and equal distribution of resources. Two at-large seats are needed to be filled, including the District B seat, which is currently occupied by Terry Dickens. Some other notable people going for nomination are Susan Mems announced her plans to run for the District B seat. Mazahir Salih, a current member of the Center for Worker Justice, also said she plans to run for an at-large seat position. A primary election will take place October 10th if 5 or more candidates run for at-large seats or 3 or more run for the District B seat. The election will take place November 7th. And there hasn't been a lot going on in sports lately, but let's toss it over to Colin Murphy and Taylor Van Fleet in the sports studio to find out what's going on.
Thanks, Noah. Well, spring football is certainly in full swing with the practice in Des Moines last Friday, but some bad news for the Hawks. Starting safety Brandon Snyder tore his ACL and will be out for the season.
Yeah, it's definitely a huge loss for the Hawkeyes, but they are going to have to fill the void somehow, and they have a spring game next week, so we'll see how they're going to do so.
Absolutely. As spring sports will come to an end in about a month or so, spring football only has a week and a half left before they wrap up. Mary Kate Harrion has more on the progress on the offensive side of the ball.
Like Mary Kate said, the spring season will end in just 1 week for Iowa football, so they have a little bit of time here to fine-tune and fix some problems before they play for the fans in the spring game next Friday.
Absolutely. After taking third at regionals, Angel Metcalf looks to continue her success going to the nationals. Liv Corbett has the story.
Yeah, and Kajay will be joining Metcalf in St. Louis, and we will be seeing more of her on tomorrow's show.
Even with the slow start to the season, the Iowa Hawkeyes softball team was able to dominate a hot Nebraska team yesterday.
We seem to be having some technical issues there with our stories not being able to play, but we're going to continue with the program as we go. So the Iowa City Floodwater Comedy Festival won't happen this year after welcoming a new staff. Instead, Floodwater will be hosting a stand-up. Okay, I guess we got everything fixed. We're going to go back to sports to show you more. So let's toss it over to Taylor Van Fleet and Colin Murphy in the sports studio.
Thanks, Noah. Sorry about those technical difficulties, but we'll get right back into it. As spring sports will come to an end in about a month or so. Spring football only has a week and a half left before they wrap up. Mary-Kate Herron has more.
Now, the fourth week of spring practice for the Hawkeyes, new wide receivers coach Kelton Copeland is striving for perfection and not much else after much improvement is needed after last season.
You know, it's never as perfect as I want to be. My job is to coach against perfection. If it's not perfect, I have something to teach and I have something to coach. If I was honestly answering your question, no, it's not perfect yet, but my goal is to get there. And we're getting there. We're getting better every day.
Moving into the quarterback's position, new quarterbacks coach Ken O'Keefe said that it is still completely up for grabs at the starting spot, and it is a battle between junior Tyler Wiegers and sophomore Nate Stanley.
I think competition is always good. I have no idea how far it will go, or when somebody separates totally from from the group. But competition is never bad. It'll only help us. They're both sharp guys. The ability to learn and process is pretty good. It's just a matter of getting reps and being able to react to how you process that. Is probably going to be the thing that that separates people in the end.
Now, in just 1 week from Friday, we will get to see the wide receivers and the quarterbacks in action in Kinnick Stadium as they conclude spring football with their spring game on Friday, April 21st. Reporting outside the Iowa football facility, this has been Mary-Kate Herron for Daily Iowan TV Sports.
They went too far.
All right, and now you see that the Hawkeyes will have their spring game next week.
Yeah, definitely excited for that one. After a slow start to the season, the Iowa softball team was actually able to dominate a hot Nebraska team yesterday. Our Zach Lohman has more.
The Iowa Hawkeyes softball team was hitting on all cylinders Wednesday evening as they swept the Nebraska Cornhuskers in a doubleheader. Pitching from the Hawkeyes kept them in till the final out. Senior Shayla Starkenberg only allowed 2 runs and 7 hits against a Nebraska team that has been on a roll this season. Starkenberg compliments the great defense of the Hawkeyes for keeping the score in their favor.
Just going with my pitches, and my drop ball was working really well today. The defense was outstanding, so I knew if I let the ball go and play, they were going to take care of it.
I just was really confident in our ability as a team. Shayla was pitching a great game, getting us some ground balls in the infield. I just felt confident in what I was doing.
On the offensive side of the ball, the Hawkeyes made it difficult for the Cornhuskers to gain any confidence. Senior Caitlin Mularkey had 2 RBIs on the night, which helped the Hawkeyes cruise to victory.
You got to go into the box with confidence, and like I said, I went in there saying just hit the ball hard, and that's what I did, and we got the outcome.
Even with the wins last night, head coach Marla Looper is hoping to take that momentum into this weekend.
I knew we'd have a battle on our hands, and if we took care of the ball, we stood a chance, and we did a nice job in the circle defensively and then scored some runs tonight, and it'd be nice to carry that over into the weekend.
Even though the Hawkeyes are on a winning streak, head coach Marla Looper wants to work on base running and attacking before Rutgers this weekend. Reporting from Bob Pearl Field, this has been Zachary Lohman with Daily Iowan TV Sports.
That's all we have for you today in the sports studio. Noah, back to you.
Thanks, guys. The Iowa City Floodwater Comedy Festival won't happen this year after welcoming a new staff. Instead, Floodwater will be hosting a stand-up comedy contest and will take place this Friday at 7 p.m. for $3 at the High Ground Cafe. And that's it for this edition of Daily Iowan TV. Be sure to check out our live shows every morning at 8:30 a.m. on dailyiowan.com. Also, be sure to pick up today's copy of the Daily Iowan. We'll see you right back here tomorrow, and have a great day, Iowa City.